Hello YouTube, this is Billy. Today I'm trying to replace the Serpentine belt on this. This is a 2011 Kia Sorento. This one is the 4-cylinder 2.4. Let me see if I can get some light in there. So I could actually hear it a little bit while the vehicle was running, that it just didn't sound as normal as it usually does. I don't know how good you can see that. I'm trying to get the light to cooperate, but so on the ridges of the belt, let's see. Okay, on those ridges, on those little ridges right there, it might be hard to see on camera, but anyway, that's how you check to see if you're possibly needing to replace your Serpentine belt, is those little ridges right there. This is my new belt, so on this new belt you can see it a lot better, but these little ridges right here, when you start seeing little cracks in these little ridges, and like I was saying, you might even hear the a difference in how the vehicle's sounding. So yeah, when you start seeing those little cracks, let's see if I can try to zoom in a little bit, but it's got little tiny cracks in those ridges, and so that's what I'm doing today, is trying to pull out this Serpentine belt and go back in with a new one. There's a little bit better shot there. So in any event, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up these lug nuts on this passenger side front tire. I'm going to loosen those lug nuts and then jack the vehicle up, put a jack stand and chock the wheels, and get this wheel out of the way. And once this wheel's out of the way, there's a plastic guard that I'm also going to pull out, and that's going to kind of help open things up to where I can get into where I need to be, trying to get that Serpentine belt out. So that's where we're at. Okay, so now that we've got the car jacked up and I've got jack support under there along with the floor jack, and got some safety measures just in case something was to fail. I've got some chocks on the wheels to try to prevent the vehicle from rolling any forward or backwards. So once the tire's out of the way, this plastic guard here, that's all that is, a little plastic guard, and it's got some little looks like 10 millimeter. There's 4 of them. You got one here, and then there. So that's all that's holding this on. I'll get those screws out and then set this cover to the side. And that's where we're at. Okay, we just got this little plastic guard out. Here's the bolts that we're holding it in, 4 of them. You can see the spots a little better now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's just a flimsy piece of plastic, so you can manipulate it to get it out of there, because you will have to kind of bend and twist a little and help it to get out of there. In any event, I was going ahead and trying to figure out what size I needed to get that belt tensioner. I've looked it up and it looks like it's actually a 19. In my tool set, my 19 that I have would not fit in there. So all I'm doing is going with an 11/16. It's not a perfect fit, but as long as I can get tension off of the belt to get that belt out, and then get the new belt in without, damaging anything. So that's where I'm at. I do recommend going with the right tools, but sometimes we just do what we got to do. I don't exactly have the money to run to the store and grab the 19, so I'm just rocking with what I got. Now, let's see how good you can see this. So this is from far away, and I'm just coming right in, and that pulley right there, that's your belt tensioner, the one that's got the wrench on it. And that wrench, I will push it towards the front of the vehicle, and when I do that, it's going to give slack in that belt. Now, before you get the belt out, you want to make sure you can have yourself a belt diagram so you know exactly how to lace the belt through the pulleys. If you can't find a belt diagram, just grab a piece of paper and just kind of draw it out the best of your abilities. And after you've got it drawn out, make sure you look at it 2 or 3 times, make sure you've got it exactly right, so that when you get the belt out of there, you'll be able to know exactly how to get the new belt laced in. So that's all I'm going to do now, is push this wrench that direction towards the front of the vehicle, and by doing so, it's going to give me slack in that belt where I can get it to come off of these pulleys. And then it's just getting the belt out of there and going in with the new one. So that's where we're at. Okay, well, that was not too bad. It was just kind of a little bit of wiggle here and there and get that old belt out. The one that's sitting real pretty on the floor, that's the old one. Now, you see these cracks in the belt, that's when you know it's time to go ahead and get your belt replaced, because you don't want to be out driving around when that thing decides to break all the way. Now, at this stage, you do want to make sure you've got the correct length belt for the replacement. If you just grab both of them, you know, grab both of those ends together like that, and then with your other hand, grab both of these ends like that, and then just spread your 2 hands away from each other and get confirmation that they are the same length. And I've already done that, and these are. So now it's just getting this brand new belt laced around those pulleys just like it's supposed to be. So that's where we're at. One thing I would like to add to you guys would be paying attention to your pulleys, because some of your pulleys will have these grooves like this one, and you want to make sure you put the Serpentine belt grooves into those grooves. So any of the pulleys that have grooves, the side of the belt that also has grooves, that's the 2 that need to be, they need to be making, you know, you don't want the smooth side on grooves, you want the... Okay, it took me maybe 10-15 minutes, but I did get the new belt in there. So I'm standing at the front of the vehicle. This is the passenger side front headlight, and right in here, this gap right here, going in with the new belt, I just let it go straight down in there like that. And this top pulley, this top bigger pulley right here, the one with the grooves on it, I went around that first. And so down here where the tensioner is, let me show you my drawing, because okay, so this is that top pulley. When I dropped the belt in, I went straight down like that, and I made sure my grooves went into my grooves. I laid it on this first, and the rest of the belt was just hanging down in that position, where it was only on the top half of this pulley, and the rest of the belt was just hanging down from underneath the car. I got this side of the belt here to come around this little pulley and brought it around this pulley, and I did not try to go around the tensioner yet. It's this one right here, it's the tensioner. Once I got it in this position to where it was just kind of roughly where my pin is in this vicinity, I just kind of let it take that sort of shape, but it was not coming all the way back to the tensioner. So it came around like this and then came back this way. Once I got to there, then I refocused on this other side. So this side here around to here, and let it kind of take this same shape but over here. Okay, I did not go around that tensioner yet. So then I refocused on this other side. So with this other side, I got it to come down and around this little pulley here. This little area right here is challenging. That's all I did, is I just started up at the top and focused on trying to get it to come around this one, to come around this one and around that one. I did kind of sort of try to help it take this shape as I was trying to feed it in there. In any event, so once I got it around this one, and then getting it around this one was pretty easy, and coming around this one's also easy. But I saved this one, this big one right here, I saved that for dead last. So at this point, the belt was on from here around here, and then just looped here, and it was not around the tensioner yet. So it was just to like here, okay? And then this other end around like this and like this. Now, yes, because it was not around the tensioner, it was very easy for me to go around like this, but I did not do that. I saved this one for very last. This one right here, I saved for last. With the belt right here, and by not going around this one yet, I had all this slack to help me get around the tensioner. So once I got it around the tensioner, now the tensioner, it was tricky because this little space right here, those belts are extremely close. They're damn near touching each other, okay? So you have to be careful when you're going around the tensioner that you're not knocking this over here off. So that part right there was tricky, and this part over here was tricky. But getting it to just carefully watching this top piece here and this bottom piece here, and getting the belt with not around this one yet, because if you don't go around this one yet, you have all this slack, and it's a lot easier to get around the tensioner. So get it around the tensioner, and now you're around everything except for this one. So once you're around everything except for this one, then get your wrench on the tensioner, and by pushing towards the front of the car with your wrench, that brings that tensioner back. And it does take a lot of pressure pushing that tensioner. Get that tensioner pushed back good, and it will give you exactly enough to get it around this pulley here. So for anybody this video may help, well, good luck. And okay, and last but definitely not least, you want to be putting a good flashlight on all of your pulleys and making sure that they're seated good on each one and in the proper position, because once you've got good confirmation that your belt is sitting on all the pulleys properly, then it's time to start the vehicle and make sure everything is hunky-dory. All right then, well, for everybody this video may help, good luck. Okay, just got my plastic guard back in place and all 4 bolts in there tightened up good. So now it's just time to get the tire back on and get those lug nuts a little bit tight, and then set it on the ground to finish torquing them the rest of the way. Well, for anybody this video may have helped, well, good luck.